Good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Eitayo, and I'm so excited to be here today. This is the first show in the month of April 2021. This is the first day of April as well. Good morning. God bless you. Thank you. Good morning. Gideon Essien is saying, good morning, my friends. God bless and reward your consistency. I say a big amen to that. And of course, right back at you. Thank you for your consistency as well. Always coming online every morning, Mondays to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's always a great pleasure to have you, Gideon Essien. And as many people are joining us, we want to thank you for joining us. Welcome to the month of April. Welcome to the month of April. Thank you so much. We are streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, to West Africa, and of course to Africa and to the entire world. And it's such a great delight to know that we're advancing into the second quarter of the year. Good morning, everyone. Wherever you're joining us, please do let us know. Tell us your location, tell us where you're streaming from. If it's your first time experience today, we have what we call the Bell of Blessing to you and for you. And I believe that's going to be a great time. And of course, please make sure you feel free to share your thoughts with us as we dive into the conversation of the day. Let us know your thoughts, let us know your comments, try as much as possible to contribute with us on the show, and we will be happy to take also your questions. Analysts will be on standby to also do that as well. So this morning will not be an exception. We'll be having great conversations today, but we'll also be sharing with you some of our concerns or some of our discoveries about news within and around the world of education. And without wasting much time, I also like to encourage you that if you have any issue you'd like to bring to our notice or any issue you'd like to discuss, please feel free to share with us on the show today. And I'm sure it's going to be a great time together on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not miss out on this opportunity. So please do something about that. Today we'll be starting with the news, and I have some headlines that I'd like to share with you and treat. And of course, as my colleagues also come in, I will try as much as possible to engage them on that as well. We're starting with the fact that the Nigerian government uh, plans to educate 10 million out of school children under alternate school program. That's one of the major uh, headline today. I really this is something that we really need to dig deep to find out the old details about it. It's actually a welcome development because we know that out of school children has also been a major issue, although the disparity in figure, whether it's 17 million, it was first 3 million, 6 million, 10 million, and now 17 million. And some people are even saying that beyond those who are not coming into school, they are also out of school children within schools themselves. I believe that with the right implementation, with the right authorities, we will have a great experience on that. And this is the opportunity to welcome Fee. Hey, this is a colorful April, Fee. You're looking like the rainbow. Good morning. How are you today?
Good, good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Rotimi. Good morning, world. Good morning to every of our viewers out there, and welcome to the month of April. Welcome to a new beginning. It's exciting to be here this morning.
All right. So I was just talking and sharing about the headline that we have on the screen saying Nigerian government plans to educate 10 million out of school children under the alternate school program. Do you want to share something about this?
Over the years, in the recent past, we've had a number of programs for out of school children, and there have been plans on plans and plans. So we thank the Nigerian government for having this plan, but it should be much more exciting and much more useful to the children, to the if it's once it takes off, it's executed, and
Fee, are you there? So I think this is the time where we need to say good morning, internet, because the internet is being unfair this morning. But I believe, just like I said, Fee is on the same page with me. We need to ensure that this kind of projects and programs, do not get aborted halfway or affected by the wrong kind of planning. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take other headlines. We'll take other headlines, and from there we move on. And of course, hopefully, we'll have Finn join us on. Okay, I think she's back. Finn, are you back? Can you hear us?
yes, I'm back now.
Sorry about that.
Thank
Yes. Do
you.
you want to
It's a new
just?
month. The internet does better.
So do you want to end your comments with that?
Yes, so I was saying that taking this out of just being a plan and actually executing it, that is where the news will be, not just telling us it's a plan.
Okay. Um, so knowing that that's the aspect of that, then let's move to another one, which is WEF. It will take 136 years to close gap between men and women. I wish Titi and the gang was here.
Mhm.
136 years.
Just
Wow.
for the gap between men and women. What's the gap? What do they mean by the gap between men and women? And if at all there is a gap, what are they closing that's going to take 136 years? I personally do not believe that there is a gap between men and women. Are they talking about equality? Are they talking about opportunities? Even where opportunities do not exist or have not been created for women, women have found a way to make these opportunities for themselves, to make a way for themselves. And we have so many women out there who are doing great things, who are achieving so much more, despite all that might be militating against them, despite all the situation, the environment not being conducive. So this is, I hope we're not attempting to start a gender war here, but this is not, this should not be news in 2021. They're trying to close gap between men and women. What's that?
Okay. All right. He has said it. This is not a gender war, but I think it was just an headline that needed to meet up with the headline. Don't mind me just playing mischievous, isn't it? Coronavirus. Nigeria gets $50 million grant for safe school reopening.
Hmm. That's good news. That's cheering news. As much as we want to see children back in school, we want to see the education system and the processes return to normal. Now, I'm very careful with saying return to normal because the normal we had before needed a lot of upgrade. But as much as we want to see children return to school and continue with their schooling, we also want to see them safe. So the grants is a beautiful thing to make sure that we have safer schools, to make sure that we have children in school learning under a safe environment, and that, well, maybe from there we can even begin to curb spread, because if we have all of the safety measures in place, hand washing basins, when schools were reopened for a while after the initial lockdown, there was a lot of reports of schools not even having water for hand washing, not to talk of maybe having the being able to distance or sanitizers or all of that. So if the grants, it's a good thing that the Nigerian government has gotten the grant, and that yes, children can go back to school again smiling.
All right. We have New York State legislators vote to legalize marijuana. Although I'm wondering how this got to the news.
I have no comments on that.
Oh my goodness. Ghanaian professor elected new WAEC board chairman.
Yay! We're happy for him, and hope that his tenure moves that organization forward, and that changes, not just get into office and continue to just keep the wheel running the way it has been. We hope he reinvents the wheel. Congratulations to him.
Then the next one we have is Mapoli becomes degree awarding institution.
That's great. That's great news for those. That's one more institution, one more degree awarding institution added to our institutions. That's one more opportunity for a number of students. Good news. Welcome news.
Enugu government has executed 1,355 school projects across 17 local governments, and Subeb is saying that.
Well, okay. First of all, the number, yes, commendable. But then, as we have found in our climb, that sometimes the headline is very glamorous. The headline looks like, oh, a lot has been done. But when you look at the actual execution, it may not be newsworthy. So yeah, we're happy that 1,355 school projects have been executed, but then we're hoping that these schools are up to standard, that the schools are actually places of learning and of teaching and of passing knowledge across to the students.
Thank you so much. Governor Buni approves April 12 for school resumption in Yobe State.
Okay, coming on the heels of the federal government getting a grant for safe school reopening, this is good. Hopefully, the time between now and April 12 is enough for them to really have all the safety protocols and procedure in school and ready for resumption.
Do you think that it's coincidental? Are you so sure?
I'm just hoping. I'm actually just hoping, and that one, that the grant is not even a future thing, and that even when the grant has been, they've gotten the grant, that it will be deployed before that time, deployed well ahead of time, so that state governments can make use of them and have the school. So everything is, we're just hoping and believing that what they have said, what we have read, and what we have heard is the way it is, and that we can safely have our children back in school.
All right. So while you were analyzing that headline, Titi joined in. Good morning, Titi Adeosi. How are you today? Welcome to the month of April.
Good Good morning. It's a brand new month on the Good Morning Education Show. Good morning to everyone. It's a new quarter, it's a new month, and new things, I promise. And we also have Ifyok today. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Fee. Good morning, Rotimi. And hello, Ifyok, our last born who has been missing.
Can I
Good
bust
morning,
Ifyok's
good morning,
bubble?
wait. Good morning,
Let me
good
bust
morning, Mr.
Ifyok's
Rotimi.
bubble.
Good morning, Fee. Good morning, Titi.
Titi, did you notice something different in Ifyok's voice? There's something close by in Ifyok's voice.
What? Nothing. What?
Trust my Titi can't form my hand.
Sorry?
There's something close by in Ifyok's voice.
Wow.
What?
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prepare, make way. Ifyok is in the country.
Please, hang out.
Good morning, everyone.
Can you see the local background of the international Ifyok?
I don't understand. Rotimi. What do you mean local
This is the home background.
Honestly,
I'm just
I do
saying
not
that.
know what he's talking about. Okay.
Yeah. The usual Ifyok corner is not there. Welcome to Africa. Or is it better to say welcome to Zamunda?
Thank you.
Hope you're not melting.
You can see it already. That's why I put the camera off initially. Like,
you need to sweat. It's part of the blessing.
Honestly, I've been already on a 12-kilometer walk this morning, and so I'm very happy.
Yeah. Work for education. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have a headline that says, "It helped me become better." That's a female doctor appreciating teacher who made her brilliant or a brilliant student. That's a very good one. Anyone saying anything about that?
I agree. This is cheering. This is what we want to hear more about our teachers. This is what we want to hear more as feedback from students. Like years back, they can look back years after. They can look back and say, "Oh, this person was very instrumental to my success." And yes, this is what we talk about, the reward of the teacher. It's not in heaven anymore, like they used to say. Yes, they still get rewarded in heaven, but here the reward is starts from here. And this is heartwarming in a time when it's looking at like teaching is just one of those things. It's not very profitable. Having feedback like this and having somebody say that, "Oh, you were instrumental in making me in who I have turned out to be," very heartwarming. And I hope we have more students or more people come out to appreciate their teachers and let them know that yes, they have really been instrumental to who they are today.
Fantastic.
I'm just going to speak in the in the same lines of teachers themselves understanding purpose, understanding what it is they're there for and why it is they are there. I think that's going to help them. And testimonies like this will spur us who are in the profession. And it's not just about teachers in the profession. I think it also has to do with any person who is serving as a secure base to a child, or who is serving as a parent or a teacher, or who has that place in a child's life to influence who or what he or she becomes in future. And so taking it as not just a profession, taking it as a responsibility to mold lives. Testimonies like this actually help teachers like us in the profession. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So very quickly, we're going straight to drug abuse and sexual harassment. Harassment must be fought in higher institutions?
My question is how. You know how you, as I look through the news, is it, it's easy to say this must be done, this must be done. How what are the ideas on how it's going to be? I feel that it's an education that is important, and it should start from primary school. In terms of drugs, in terms of what we now call good touch, bad touch, all those things should start from primary school. The more aware people are, the more they're going to escalate issues of that. The more they'll quickly identify it. So for me, it's important we have a how, and not a how for a particular stage, a how that can be implemented countrywide, and it needs to start early. So once those things start as early as primary school, we emphasize in secondary school, by the time you come to university, it's a bit easier. And then there are policies in place. The judiciary system supports and helps hasten hasten um hasten the process of prosecuting the people that are found guilty. There's a database of known, in quotes, you know how in other countries you have database of pedophiles living in your area. Those things that they're not. When there's a transparency about certain things, then people then be careful. So I think we need to do more, and we need it to be done on a countrywide level, and it then needs to dovetail down to every one. I'm happy that Safety Chick has joined. I hope her network is great enough for her to comment on it, since that's our new area.
Welcome to the show, Safety Chick. Good morning, and welcome to the month of April, the month
Good
of
morning,
courage.
Mr. Ritimi. Good
Month
morning.
of announcement,
Good
month
morning,
of
Mrs.
showcase.
Adelsi. Good
Uh,
morning, Ifio. Good
Morning.
morning, Finn. So we are on my
hmm,
matter this morning.
I'm telling you,
Anyway,
man, I sit on that matter seriously.
yes, so welcome to April. Okay, so I totally agree with what Mrs. Adelsi mentioned about having a more strategic response to it, because the truth is, it may not look obvious, but the drug abuse problem, it's actually very serious. It is serious because people are not innovating. They're not even using traditional drugs anymore. They are now creating stuff, mixing all sort of stuff. So it's not enough. It's a three-pronged approach that is even going to help towards managing this. The first is prevention effort, where you are visiting schools, trying to do the sensitization. And of course, it's not just sensitization in schools. It's also that the media that is consumed regularly must also showcase that this is not normal. Like, this is not the normal way to go about things. Because where I notice a problem is where we are telling them don't do this, but then when they go out, the media assaults them with images of it being cool, being done by certain people and seeming cool, And so that's a challenge. And then, of course, the next step there would now be rehabilitation efforts, where the people who are suffering from drug abuse get to go through necessary therapy and treatment so that they are better. And then, of course, when they are better, reintegration. Because if you do prevention well, if you do the rehabilitation well, and then you don't now have reintegration effort, they go back and fall back into it. In the course of speaking with some of them, one of the things they kept mentioning to me was the power of their peers in influencing them. And if we're talking in the school system, so you know how a lot of children want to do stuff because their colleagues are doing it and it seems cool. So that power of peer pressure is really something when we're talking about drug abuse prevention. So this now means that we have to raise resilient children, right? We have to raise children that even when they go out there and they are confronted with values that do not align with theirs, they are able to stand their ground while still being friendly. Because again, emotional intelligence will come. We're not asking you to go and start fighting and all that, right? But be able to still be friendly, but stand your ground. Oh, no, I do not do that. Oh, no, I can't do. But it has to. We have to have those kind of children, and it starts from what are we modeling at the home front. What are we modeling in our places of work? What are we modeling in the media? So all those things come to play really when we're talking about drug abuse prevention.
All right. Very quickly, let's just take one or two more. Lakefield School's birth in Lagos assures of global learning experience features. As a school getting to start off in Lagos. And
Yeah,
finally,
I think.
okay, yeah, Titi, comment.
I was saying that let's move to, that one is not real news. Let's move to
So, so we have another one that says WAS 2020 best three candidates are Ghanaians. That's the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Exams candidates. The best three are Ghanaians, right? I don't know why this is coming out at this time. We have a new chairman that is Ghanaian as well. Anyway, they were more prepared because of our timetable clash last year. We had a lot of interpretation on third term, not third term. When should WAEC exams, take place and all those things. But it is what it is. Any comments on that?
congrats to them, Jare. Whatever the conditions, let's just say congrats to the top three candidates.
Let's celebrate them.
Well done.
Congratulations,
we just say
Ghana.
watch out. Nigeria is coming back stronger, so just watch your back. But congrats to them.
Today we will be ending the series of the knowing and for parents. So we started with knowing what to know, then we went to knowing what to do, and today we're talking about knowing where to look. And I'm excited that we have Ifiok, we have Fee, we have Seti Chick, we have Titi in the house. And I believe that before we go too far into the show, we probably might have Rhoda and the others join us as well. So, guys, on the heels of what we've been talking about for the past few days, let's talk a little bit about knowing where to look. Where should parents look? What are they looking for? Where should they look for those things? You're looking for ABC. Where should you look for it? You're looking for success, looking for discipline. You're looking for all those things. So let's start with Finn. Where to look? Parents' perspective.
So it's from the way we have started, it's a continuum. First of all, what you don't know, we were able to shed some light on knowing those things parents don't know, and then going beyond the knowing to the doing. Now, when you look for solutions, you need to look in the right places. When you want a solution to a problem, you need to be talking to the right people. So where should parents be looking? For me, the straight answer is look in the right direction. But then what is the right direction? So a major culprit when it comes to where to look or where to go to for solution, because of the kind of environment and the kind of people we are, we're very super religious in this part of the world. Our first port of call, our first stop would usually be religion, whatever it is that anybody believes in. And many times, that's not the answers we seek are not really there. Yes, a part of it might be there, but the real answers we seek are not there. So when you have a child who is slow in speaking, or who has not started speaking, or who has some developmental challenges, and then we think the next thing or the next place to go to is to go deposit that child in a religious center, then uh, the problem remains sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, it is solved there, but most of the time it isn't. And it would have been much better for parents to look in the direction of speech therapists. Okay. Now the next question will be: do they know how to access the speech therapist? So I believe what we're going to be discussing this morning will be pointing parents in the direction they should be looking, in the places they should be going, in the people they should be speaking to, and maybe if we can give references, give referrals, and be able to say, oh, if this is the problem, then you should be looking, you should be going in this direction. So we're not just saying, oh, this is a problem, I know, and then I believe that for example, it's flu season generally, and apart from COVID, it's flu season, and a number of children, even adults, cough and all of that. It's very easy to say, "Oh, palm oil works," and then we all go dunking in palm oil, or honey works, and then we all go overfeeding on honey. Sometimes it's not that simple. You sometimes have to speak to a doctor. They need to take an X-ray to be able to be sure what the real cost is and what the treatment plan would be. So yes, parents need to look in the right direction, need to speak to the right people, and need to be taking steps and actions in places where it's going to yield results. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ifyok, do you want to join in on to that?
Okay, I'm just going to talk about the need. What's the need to be met? So identifying what need it is that the parent needs to meet will define or determine where or she will look. Now, also, what's the information that the parent has when he or she knows what need or what problem he or she needs to solve? Do you know where to look? So I want to believe that for parents, when you identify your need, or for us, when you identify what need or what problem it is that you have, then you can start looking out for ways to solve that problem. And that involves looking at places where you find solution. So it doesn't make any sense to look, for example, you need help for your child, let's say with reading, and you're going to a hospital. So it also, like, I think it just boils down to understanding what your need is and looking at the right places to meet that need.
Thank you so much. So I want to take it a step further. So let's look at it from the angle of one of the key things I know that when we speak about where to look would be people, right? Everyone is always asking, do you know someone? Do you know this person? Do you know an individual that can do this, that can do that? So in the concept of where to look, the word or the item people always singles out. And of course, being expert and analyst, right, on the show, it's always also easy for people to check up the show much after, because we always have feedback and messages for people who could not catch up the show live. And then they know that the Good Morning Education, there are people. There are people. Sometimes when people attend an event, they're looking for people. When people ask around, pick up a call or send a TM on social media, they're talking about people. So let's talk about people. And I'm going to take this to Titi, knowing where to look. And this time around, we are using the subset, the people. How do we get parents to know the people to look out for, right? Titi, over to you.
Okay, that honestly, that's a major challenge here in Nigeria. It's where to look is a major challenge, and it's something that can be very frustrating. And now that you talk about it, maybe I'll put a cheat sheet of people to go to for certain things. So let me give an example. Like if you want to do special needs, right? Over time, I've identified 3, 4 people that you need to follow, and this can be on social media. So, of course, Toby Ajayi is one. She's a major advocate for kids learn. Um, We have Lola and Eke for special needs. We also have there's this lady. Her child is Daria of a special needs mom. Her name is Mrs. Ayinde, I think. I've forgotten her name. They're just some of those people with special needs. If it's people talking about parenting, then you have a number of those on social media. You have Fab Mom, depending on the ages of the child, they vary. You have Fab Mom, you have Fab Mom, you have Lagos Mom. You have quite a number of them talking about parenting. If you're talking about education, you have concerned parents and educators. You have Niger Kids. So I agree that we need to have some little directory of, if you want various things. If you want to learn about food, what to cook for your children, packing their snacks. We have people like Lagos Housewife. We have, they're just a series of a number of people, but there's no gathering point. And that's one of the things I'm passionate about. When we do our blogs, I'm always saying, I as a parent, what information do I need? I remember that when I was looking for a school for myself for secondary school, that was also a challenge. Where can I go to just get, the information? It was a nightmare going from place to place, going beyond schools nicely packaged website, asking various people that I felt that kids went to there. But one of the things that came out of that was, after I went through that process, I documented a little ebook. And the ebook was just simply all the schools that I got information about, the specific information I looked for. I just put it together as an ebook and shared it. So I shared and told people, if you're looking for any information in these schools that I checked, so my list is not endless, because it was based on what I had found. So maybe I had like 13 schools that I had considered. I recently updated that checklist, and I think I
Sita, are you there? Your internet.
start
Hello.
a little directory. Can you hear me?
Better now. It was a bit off.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness. So I think maybe that's something that one should even consider doing. Having, just based on a lot of things that people have asked me, put together a little directory and say these are people to either follow on social media or follow their newsletter or subscribe to their blog. And I don't only do it for people that are in country. I do it for, once I see a wonderful person that I go through their social media, they're very full with information on a particular topic. I then share it with people I know that will be interested. So, one of the things I'm passionate about a bit is cerebral palsy. I follow people locally and international. They're just a well of information. They're just a well of information, and information that goes beyond the medical. That is very inspirational for anyone that currently has that. And I just share it to people that I know. So it's hard. So you have to be very specific on what you want to look for. But we also do have places like School Compass. There's like a directory of schools. We have EduSchool too. There's also a directory of schools. When it comes to find out information about schools, a bit of that. That's a place to look for, to look at. Let me stop and allow other people to see other places.
All right, thank you so much. So we're still going to come back to that dynamics of people, but I want to take the angle to the next aspect, because when we talk about knowing where to look, people is very integral and key, but we also know that platforms are also very important. And I'm going to be talking to Safety Chief because who has been embraced with different platforms and is on a lot of platforms. So for parents, I want Safety to take us through the angle of platforms, knowing where to look and dwelling a little bit on platform. Titi did a bit of an intro talking about people, although she interjected with some platforms. But I want you to take it the bigger spectrum, that parents need to understand that in looking out for things, just like if you said, that there must be an idea of what the needs are. But now, once you are able to chronicle the needs, what platform should we be looking out for? Over to you, Safety.
So I agree with what Ifiok said, that before you even know who to look for, you've got to even know what exactly you need. And then I also like what Mr. Dewusi also began with about identifying individuals in that space and working with them. So now we want to talk about platforms. So there are professional associations, right? There are school associations, and then there are support groups. So, for example, the different kinds of needs usually have professionals who work in that area. So, if we still want to use the example of special needs, right? And there's an association of maybe people who provide services to children with special needs. I'm just using this as an example. Then you as a parent that need information like that, you've got to see how to plug into what that organization or that association organizes. And then that now leads to events. So, for example, there is this event that happens on a yearly basis, GT Bank Autism Week or something like that, in partnership with one of the special, with I think it's St. Patrick, one of those special needs organizations. Anyway, they do that to bring all sorts of stakeholders together. So when we're talking about platform, we're looking for associations that exist to solve the particular problem that you need. You're looking for industry events that exist, because they do. Industry events that exist to also solve that need. You're also looking for support groups in those areas too, because the truth is there's a value chain to in terms of solving any problem. And even in the area of support, there are different people that do different things. But it starts from you even being sure of what you're trying to do, and then now look for support in these different categories. Because yes, you might need the professional association so that you will know what are the best practices, what is going on, and maybe how you can even source for a professional that can help you. And of course, people with different price points. You would need an industry event so that you can also meet people like yourself who are trying to get information in simpler forms or make certain kinds of connections. You will need a support group, because maybe by yourself you can't do this alone. You want a community of people. That's why we have AA, the Alcoholics Anonymous. People who are in your shoes, who are going through the same challenges that you're going through, and who can be a shoulder to lean on, who can tell you, oh, when this happened to me, this was what I did. You can try it. Do you see what I mean? So along the different spheres of solving a problem, there are different people you are going to need. But what is important is even being able to know what do you need, and then now being able to identify the organizations and support systems that have been set up along that value chain.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for that. I'm going to take this to Fini. I'm still coming to Ifyok, and I'm going to ask Fini that. Okay, so we're talking about knowing where to look, and of course, Titi had done a little bit on the people. So Titi has taken the baton from her, and she spent some time to elicit on the platforms, right? I want you to take us a little bit on the programs, right? Programs, because she kind of used the word industry. So I know that for programs, parents must also look out for certain programs, right? What are those programs that you should look out for? In the area of knowing where to look. Programs could be on TV, could be offline, could be online. Just share with us on that.
Okay, so in about programs, I would say first of all that parents need to, we're quite we're a society that thrives a lot of activity. So we don't want people to know what's going on. And many times when there are programs, if you're not in that sector, you're not able to, and somebody who knows about the program may not be able to refer um, somebody else who needs it because they don't know what the need is. So it's not about us going out and shouting about, oh, I have this issue, I have this issue. But at least we find a few people who are talking to the right people. Okay, so for programs, we'll be looking at these days, people we're getting more aware of these needs. We're getting more um, sensitized about these things. We're having more professionals in this area. There are rehabs. I don't know if many people know that there are rehabs for children with special needs, not just physical needs, but with special needs. And loads of programs are going on online. It looked like COVID, the pandemic part of it, yes, we're not okay with it, but there were a lot of lessons that came from COVID. So I saw quite a number of programs on special needs. There's the CTY case, the Adelola's program. I think it's just ended or it's just about to end. We've had the special needs. There's been a lot of special needs programs by Mrs. Tony Aide. That's Diary of a Special Needs Mom. But many of these are online. Many of them are maybe via Zoom. A few are Instagram live programs. We've not had so many physical programs in the past, not so many. And when we have those programs, we have more of the cliche topics being discussed. So, how to prevent your child from being molested, how to, all those cliche topics. When it comes to the real problems that parents are facing and they can't tell their children, the programs they need to attend may not be in their circle because you find that I could have a child who needs speech therapy because there's a way that my activity on social media, my followers can, or people that are in my network can see who I'm engaging with. And I don't want that information out. So I don't follow the right people or the right organizations. And so I'm out of the loop when they have these programs. So it's essential for us to be able to have a support community. So if here we are now all together, we have a pool of resources here, all of us here. If we have a support group, for instance, where we can pull in, or it's open for parents who maybe just want to know more, just want to be able to help their kids, and then we keep posting. Last weekend was the program by Niger Kids and the finance program for kids. That's a program that not many people know. I shared, we talked about it on the program, but there are people who need it and will not know. So it's essential for us to be able to speak up, to be able to speak out and say, look, I have a need in this area so that we can be joined to the right programs. I've joined a few of those programs, a number of them, and found out that maybe for a Zoom session, you could have just 10 people. And there's several people who need these things. So there's a need for us to overcome our phobia for being for perfection, for imperfection. We need to overcome our phobia for imperfection, embrace the imperfect, and be able to get the links and the referrals to these programs as they come up. I don't think our problem is that we don't have enough programs. I think the problem we have is that we don't have enough people having access to those programs.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Fee. Very important that people know that there are programs out there. You know, Gideon Essen has something to say. He says, getting out of our .com bubble. Well said. Then, of course, like Olushola said, that parents should be encouraged to attend events beyond the immediate gains at the venue. And of course, they'll get opportunity to meet with professionals in the industry, which they can revert to later in the short term, long term as well in life. All right, I'm still on this, and I'm coming to Ethiopia, right? And you being the early years Duchess, being the knowledge Duchess, the one who does a lot of things in early years to me, right? Where do we look in the place of products? Because I know that sometimes the moment you can get in contact with people, you can get familiarized with programs, you get to the point of visiting platforms, the next thing that comes to your mind is products. What are those products? Where can we look to get products? Well, what's the role of products? Please, if you're dissect these things for us, please.
Okay. Okay. What's the role of a product? First, let me start by saying that it's important that parents take a personal responsibility for information search. Okay, so it's your responsibility to go out there and look for what you need. It's your responsibility to identify, your areas of need. Now that will, I think I've already said this actually, that will give you, the perspective that there's new information and there's data that's constantly being produced and will direct your search. So products, what products are you looking out for that you need to solve your problem? There are, once you recognize and define the information that you need, you'll be able to fine-tune your search towards the product it is you're looking for. So I think we've been talking about special needs. We've been talking about special needs. There are people I would need to do is search, ask people. I don't think that sitting and expect. I find that people or parents sit down and expect the schools, okay, the institutions where their children school, to look out for them. But it's your major responsibility as a parent to look out for your child, to go out there, ask the school, now we're in an era where everything or most things are online. Go on there, search, look at who is the top person, okay, for special needs, for ADHD, for reading, for dyslexia. Who can I reach out to? You just need to type out, for example, say dyslexia help in Nigeria or in Africa, and names will pop up. So that way you will identify what products individuals have to offer, and you can then fine-tune it based on your need. So being information literate, I think it involves developing a learning habit. So if you're constantly out there looking out for products, looking out for ways to help yourself or help or meet your need, you will find what it is you need. Another thing I wanted to talk about is using your background information to focus on your search. So sometimes you may have heard something, you may have seen something somewhere, and you're like, okay, someday I may need this information. It's important that you're able to go back to your background information. Say, okay, this is what I've known before, and this is what I can use this information now to achieve in order to meet the need I have. Mr. Rotimi, I don't know if I have touched down on what you asked, but these were the thoughts that were just going
touched down on it, just like you touched down in Nigeria. Yeah, you've touched down on it. Yes. All right,
Okay.
and talking about products, like you said, products can come also in different formats. Sometimes programs are products when you look at the need quotient. A program can be a product. People are products. Platforms are products. It only depends on the functionality. And since we're in the spirit of talking about special needs, you mentioned dyslexia. And quickly, I reached out for the Dyslexia Bible is always by my side Like they say, by my side, by my side. It's always by my side. I mean, on my table actually, not always by my side as everywhere I go. But this is written by an expert who is also, when you're talking about where to look for people, this is Lola Niki's book, right? Um, so this section today is just to raise that consciousness in parents, and I love the way you put it out there. You've said three potential powerful statements today. Number one, that you said something about parents must take personal responsibility for information search. That's really deep. Really deep. As don't know, when you said I just have to write that down. It's something we know, but most times it's not necessarily been emphasized. And I agree with you about that. You also talked about being able to interpret, almost like saying now that, oh, okay, everyone out there is looking at A, is looking at B, is looking at C, but you must also be able to interpret and develop that habit, to find out what it is you want. Because to a large extent, Titi said something some time ago that we need to start showcasing some of the experts and voices that we have in education. Thankfully, Titi is someone that really goes out to look for things. She's a great networker. So sometimes she's been able to spot out people in certain places where it was because she connected with them, she was able to say, you know what, this and this and this are people that you can talk to, that you can meet. Sometimes, as a result of maybe personality type, as a result of deficiency, invisibility, or whatever, there are great minds that you don't know exist. And everybody just looks for the very popular face or the people that are loitering around social media with this flyer. But the truth is, there are many people that you've not heard of their names, but they are doing exploits. They are great people, So I think those two things. Then of course identifying it does it for me. So I believe that parents out there will start out their month right. How can you get the book? I'll send you details, but you can just check out Cadet Academy. That's Kaka Academy. That's CACAdemy.ng. And then you can find the information on social media, and of course I can get you the information to book so that they can send it directly to you. The powerful dollars with powerful content on that. And so let's have our parting shots. I'm going to Titi, and then from Titi going back to going back to Free, and then we end for this show today. So Titi, over to
you. I'll say there are two places to look. Look at the Good Morning Education Show.
You took my feel.
And also follow and subscribe to Nigeria Kids blog with very well of information. That's my parting shot. And welcome to our last born. We need to see camera.
Last born festival party loading.
Thank you, Titi.
Okay, so I would say know what you need to know, do what you need to do, and look in the right places for what you need to do what you need to do. Thank you.
All right, Finn, you whispered the parting shot. I didn't even hear it. It felt like it was a password to your ATM.
That must be the network.
Okay,
really?
Yeah, there's a buzzing sound somewhere.
Know what you need to know, do what you need to do, and look in the right places for what you need to achieve, what you need to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, if you're the earliest Duchess.
Okay, so I'll start by saying all of us everyone lacks knowledge in countless areas, okay? And no man is an island of knowledge, but this is not a bad thing. Once you're able to step back and identify and acknowledge that you don't know something. I think that's the first step. It opens up the possibility that you can find all sorts of interesting things. You can find your way to what it is you do. You know that you do not know and that you need. So identify what it is that you need to know. Go out there and search for it.
Go out there and search for it. I'm going to look for Ethiopia across the states in Nigeria to fish out so that we can collect our collectibles. All right, make sure you go out there and make April a great month. Go out there and make today a great day. Go out there and make yourself a great person. And we normally end the show, like you know, with our usual chant, coming from an international person who is now in an international space, which is the local space. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the
You're just my kiss.
April. This is not April Fool's. This is not Christmas. She's in Nigeria. Trust me. It's not April Fool. It's not Christmas. Touch the window. Let them see. There is no background. It's not. It's real. All right. Take it off as we end the show today.
Okay, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show.
Titi, why are you quiet? Now, Titi.
I think you said Ifiok.
No. Ifiok was just a champion. Okay, now the local voices.
It's always
a great morning on the Good Morning. Oh, great morning, yes, on the Good Morning Education Show.
Bye, everyone.
Go out there, make the month great, make the week great, make yourself great.
Bye.